Are you wanting to craft powerful augments or upgrade your gear in Xenoblade X, but finding yourself having difficulty grinding the monster materials or can't find the best way to grind tickets? Well, don't worry, because today I will be showing you the best way to obtain reward tickets in Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. The method I will show you in this video can net you around 3,500 tickets in 4 minutes if you have the right setup, and even if you don't, I will still be showing you the fastest methods of obtaining reward tickets in the game that you can use as you are making your way to that setup. This means you can easily craft a bunch of augments very easily. Now, this guide is going to be mainly aimed at online players with access to the online features, as they are necessary to taking advantage of these methods. As per usual though, if you do enjoy guide content like this on Xenoblade X and would like to see more general guides and gameplay guides alike, please be sure to subscribe to the channel because it does help me out so much. I've still got weapon guides planned, I have some other videos planned, and a lot of the viewers of these guides are not subscribed, and I'd really love to hit 100,000 subscribers soon, and every little bit helps. Let's get right into it. So, reward tickets are a very useful resource for online players. Tickets can be obtained for all of the possible monster materials in the game and from the material market in the online section of the tab of the pause menu. This can allow you to obtain these materials without having to actually fight the enemies, and with the method I will be showing you, it will likely be faster than actually trying to fight the enemies for these material drops. Now, I do want to make a correction. In a previous video, I said you could get some tickets from Nemesis drops, but that seems to have been removed in this version of the game. But with the limited attempt count, that likely wasn't going to be useful anyway. Fortunately, there is an even faster method of obtaining tickets in this game if you know where and how to look. Essentially, we're going to be combining two of the fastest methods of obtaining tickets into one. The first method is going to be recruiting scouts. Essentially, if you recruit scouts at the scout terminal, you will be able to level up their scout level by fighting monsters and gaining experience, which is somewhat similar to normal experience. You can go all the way up to level 3 with your recruited scouts. Now, the higher the level of the scout, the more reward tickets you will get for leveling them. Although it will take stronger enemies and more experience to level up higher scout levels. But regardless, level 99 scouts can give a lot of experience if you want to get them to level 3 before releasing them. Now, the other method of gaining tickets is going to be the console inside the Blade Barracks. At any given time, you will see a list of active missions if you go to these consoles, as long as you are online. All of these missions will give some reward tickets, BP, and experience. Essentially, we can use these missions to get experience for our scouts, and also gain additional reward tickets at the same time. Now, you can use any missions and scouts of any level if you wish, and especially if you're earlier in the game and not as optimized, that could be helpful to do that. But if you're really trying to maximize your ticket gain and have the setup for it, you're going to want to employ a method known as squad hopping to find a specific mission or one of two specific missions. Essentially, each squad has a different set of missions that refresh every so often, and we want to find a squad with the mission we're looking for. Squad hopping is very simple to do. All you need to do is just continuously create a private squad, then check the available missions at the terminal. You will be looking for one of two missions. For the fastest method of gaining solely tickets, you want to find the Insect's Fear. For a still good method of gaining tickets and also a chance at Bongelian drops, you will want to find Air Supremacy. Now, both of these missions have a hidden objective in them, where you're basically going to want to check out materials in between fighting enemies. You're basically just going to want to go up to a treasure source and make sure you collect it. And if you do that, you will unlock the two missions we are actually looking for. Air Supremacy will unlock the Hidden Conductors, a very useful quest to have for multiple reasons. And the Insect's Fear will unlock Awakening. The Awakening, I believe it is called. This is going to be the best ticket farm in the entire game, that Awakening mission. And if you want an example of how you can just kind of take this treasure chest right here, I'm going to show you. You can just take out these two enemies really quickly, and in between the waves of enemies, there's going to be a treasure that you're going to want to go pick up before fighting the other enemies. So right over here, there will be something similar inside of the Insect Sphere. So you will just collect that. You'll see in the upper right of the screen, there has been a hidden online mission unlocked. So once you have that, then you are able to do the missions that we actually want. Once again, we have the Hidden Conductors first. And we have the Awakening, which gives you the most tickets in the game. I'll talk a bit more about the Hidden Conductors later, but once again, Air Supremacy unlocks Hidden Conductors, and the Insect Sphere unlocks the Awakening. Hidden Conductors is not quite as fast of a ticket farm as the Awakening is, but it can still be pretty useful. Now, the Awakening is particularly useful because it's the most tickets in the entire game for a mission here, and it also gives a pretty high amount of experience points. 6,600 experience, 48 BP, and also 240 tickets every time you complete it. Now, additionally, since squads are pretty useful, you also get an additional 24 tickets every time you complete it, because you get a 10% for any mission that is completed while you were in a squad. This means it can be very beneficial to have a couple friends with you while you are doing this, a couple friends to help you squad hop and find the right squad, so you can get into those private lobbies a little bit easier that have the right missions, and then you can all just kind of spam the mission together. Well, not together, because you want to have your scouts with you, but just kind of all spamming the mission so you can all kind of just continuously grant each other tickets. And you can see over on the right, I just leveled them up to level 1, and we got a bunch of just blade tickets from that. 83 for level 1, 166 for level 2, and 498 when you get the blades, the scouts that you get to level 3. You get 498 tickets per scout, and then you can release them and start the process over again. This means you can just rack up tickets very, very quickly from both the mission and from the scouts. It takes 4 completions of the Awakening mission and of the Hidden Conductors mission to max out your scouts entirely. So 4 times you have to go through it, and you will get these missions. The Awakening can be done very, very quickly because it is a singular enemy. It is Thanatos. It is a type an Ultra Fauna enemy with about 1.4 million health. Now, I'm going to show you the entire process with absolutely 0 cuts, and then we'll talk a little bit more about setup. From the getting the Blade Scouts all the way through completing the mission 4 times, it's going to be less than 4 minutes. So keep track of it on the bottom on the screen there. I'm going to be scouting. I'm going to be going to followed players because I have a bunch of followed players at level 99. If you want to find some level 99 players easily, you can always follow me and then scout me as well if you want to contribute to that. But regardless, I'm going to be scouting 3 level 99 players, and then I will be taking them to that mission to start grinding the experience. Now, the easiest way to grind Thanatos, to grind the Awakening mission, is to obviously have a good Ares 90, which I've talked about in previous videos. It is very, very easy to buy an Ares 90 after you beat Chapter 12, and it's very easy to use it to get tickets just by using the Agasser Cannon art. Now, you are going to need to probably put some custom weapon attack power-up augments on it, but those are pretty easy. You only need about 2 or 3 of those, and then you are basically good to go from there, and you should be able to one-shot Thanatos every time. Now, if you do not have the Agasser ready, you still can beat it with ground combat fairly quickly, and there are other methods you can employ to one-shot it very, very easily as well. But regardless, this is going to be one of the absolute easiest methods because it takes about 5 to 7 seconds total just to get in your skill, drive up, and press the Agasser Cannon button and just do enough damage to kill him. And if you want to see the specific setup for the most effectiveness for this, I did post a little bit of this in my skell video from yesterday. If you want to take a look at that, I talk about the Ares 90, and it's just really useful Agasser Cannon ability, and the ability that it allows it to basically one-shot a lot of enemies in the game without too much effort at all. But regardless, this is a very, very simple and easy method to employ. That was the first mission completion. I show my tickets in the bottom right corner there. I have about 3,700 after the first mission completion because I forgot to the first time. So I had about 3,400 when we started. So about 3,400 when we started. And you're going to see how many tickets I end up with at the end of this after I complete the next 3 missions. And it's really, really funny just how repeatable this is and how fast this can actually go. And like I said, you can craft a bunch of augments if you do this. The one thing you're going to be limited by is the precious resources from Frontier Nab because you cannot farm them nearly as fast. That is why, even though it is slower, sometimes you may want to farm the Hidden Conductors because that has a chance of dropping the Bongelium resource, which is your strongest resource for crafting most of the strongest augments in the game. So that is something to keep in mind. But regardless, this is just one of the most easily repeatable and easy things to do to gain a bunch of reward tickets, to craft all those materials you might need, to craft the Ares 90, because you can get materials out of doing that as well, to craft your skell super weapons. There are a lot of things you can do that benefit from this, even to get materials for quests if you really, really need to and just really don't want to farm those monster drops out in the field. This is absolutely a very, very simple method to employ. And like I said, if you're in a squad with other players, you can continuously give 24 tickets to each other just by having multiple people complete it over and over. The reason you want to do this in a private squad is because it will reset the mission timer to the full duration, so you have as many chances to do this before you have to start squad hopping again as you need. I believe it lasts about 48 minutes to an hour, so you got plenty of time if you do it this way. But if you squad hop and find it instead and find it in a public lobby, you have no idea when it's going to reset. You might not have much time at all before it resets, so that is something to keep in mind, and why it's not going to be as consistent as just basically forming private lobbies and keep checking the scout console to find it that way. Now, you can get tickets from doing these squad tasks in the bottom right of the screen out in the field as you're playing the game normally, but that's not going to be nearly as efficient as just this method here. Now, I believe that was the 4th attempt. So, once again, pay attention to the left side of the screen as we get out of this mission here, and you're going to see I get 498 tickets per scout, after already getting 166 tickets per scout, and then before that, and I'm going to pause here, I now have 6,800 tickets. So I started with about 3,400, I have 6,800 now. Just an absolutely incredible way to gain tickets. And once again, you can also do the hidden conductors if you're looking specifically for Bongelium drops. This is definitely a slower mission, you can't just drive up and one-shot an enemy, but you can still pretty easily do it consistently in less than a minute, and you still only need 4 completions of it to max out your scouts. So it doesn't really matter a ton, you could still do this pretty fast as a cycle. It would just take about 2 to 3 minutes longer, I would imagine. But regardless, though, you can easily get Bongelium from this, which is really, really nice. It is the most important precious resource. Not a ton will drop, but it does make the rate go a little bit faster, which is still really, really nice to have. So all you gotta do is just kill all these, the 2 Karos at the start and these 2 Milsati enemies, and you're gonna have to use ground combat. You're not allowed to use your skell in this one, so make sure you have a decent ground combat guild if you're gonna be doing this one instead. Like I said, you can also use ground combat for Thanatos. It really doesn't matter too much, but regardless, this is one of the best ways to get Bongelium. It's the only way to get Bongelium outside of precious resource drops. And if you want to get more Bongelium, make sure you set up the mining probes and Cauldros on all of the spots that drop Bongelium, so you can get as much as possible as you are playing through the game. This is going to be the one limiting factor, I think, if you just grind out a bunch of tickets. But tickets can also be used for weapon upgrades, so there's plenty of ways that you can use tickets to just kind of make the most use of your time as you are doing this. But once again, as you can see, tickets are very, very easy to come by using these methods. I think that is probably just going to cover it today. This is definitely an easier guide than usual, but something that I do think is important is something that is going to help the entire player base, so I did want to get this out there and make sure everyone is aware of this. So make sure to start scouting, and if you are lower level and cannot do the really strong missions yet, you can still scout lower level blades and still get plenty of reward tickets from them as well. You still get a decent chunk from level 50s and so as well, so whatever you want to do. You can also take scouts into the overworld and start killing tyrants with them, and you'll still get the reward tickets. So there are plenty of ways to get reward tickets. It really just depends on what you want to do. But once again, thank you all so much for watching. If you did learn something and enjoy the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to share with your friends who are new to the game. Make sure to share with everyone who wants to farm easier. Once again, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed day, and hopefully I will see you back here soon.